Hey y'all, Score with Everyday Man, doing everyday reviews for everyday people. And today I'm gonna be showing you how to do the perfect New Orleans crawfish boil. And we're not gonna be doing none of that Western Louisiana sprinkle the season on the outside nonsense. We're gonna do it right, and we'll get with it right after this. Hey, before we get started with the crawfish, I'm pretty excited. I just opened up a t-shirt shop, an Everyday Man merchandise shop. So if you like some Everyday Man stuff, go check it out. I'll have the link down below. You can get a t-shirt, a hoodie, coffee cups. Got some really cool stuff, y'all. Go check it out. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put our crawfish in an ice chest or some sort of large tote or something. We want to clean them out, okay? So what that's going to consist of is dumping them in an ice chest, dumping them in something, and just pouring water over them. Now there's a big debate going on right now, actually. It's kind of coming back up as to whether you should put salt in them to purge them when you're cleaning them. The theory behind it is that the salt will force them to release their excrements, and clean them out. Now, I used to do that when I was younger. I used to purge them with salt. And what I find is that you actually kill a lot of them like that. And we want to keep our crawfish alive as long as we can. So personally, I use fresh water. And what Dylan's going to do here, he's just going to fill up the ice chest with water. We're going to flush it out, and we're going to do that until the water becomes clear. We're going to take out any trash we see, any sticks, any leaves, any fish heads, anything like that, and we'll get them as clean as we can, but we will not be purging them. So if you come in here and look, this is our first flush, and you can see that water is really, really dirty. And Dylan's going to go ahead and move them around, and we're just going to take out any garbage we can. Now we'll probably have to drain it and fill it probably 4 times, and by then the water should be clear. And I'll show you that here in a few minutes. So when you start boiling crawfish, I ain't even got the pot on yet. I got all these little grub-hungry people just show up at the house. I don't know what's going on. But let me show you guys. So the crawfish, we've been rinsing them, and you can see the water's clear. You can see down to the bottom, and that's what we're looking for. So what we're doing now is I got my young son-in-law here, and he's gonna be just chop them in half. Kyle, that's all you need. You don't have to worry about none of that. Cut them straight in half. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop all of the onions in half. We're gonna chop our lemons in half. And what we're gonna do with the potatoes is we're just gonna score them. We're gonna score them a little bit so that way the seasoning can soak into the potatoes. And we're gonna put some water in the pot here in a few minutes, and I'll show you guys that. Okay, so what we got, I put water in a pot. I got a 120 quart pot right here. And what I like to do, if you look down, I always go right above 3 holes, so that way I'm consistent with my water. Once you learn your pot, you can learn where you want it. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you don't have too much water, because it takes a long time to get to a boil. And in a crawfish boil, it's definitely important to boil. So you want to have enough water in your pot to cover your crawfish completely, and you will get to know your own pot. If you put too much, it's just going to take too much time, it burns too much gas, and it's just not a good deal. So what we're going to do, we got our lemons cut up, we got our onions cut up. That's going to be the first things we put in. We're going to use an entire container of the Zatarans. This is good for 1 boil, 1 sack. And I have liquid. With the liquid, it just adds heat is what it does. So this will be your salt and your seasoning, and this is going to be heat. So what you want to do is you want to add this to taste. I like to put about 16 ounces usually, and I like to have my nose run a little bit when I'm doing this. So that's what we're going to do. And by the way, when you are boiling crawfish, everybody around this table is going to have an opinion on how to do it. You just tune them out. Roll with it. This is fun under a live studio audience. Applause, applause. I usually do these videos all by myself. It's kind of weird having an audience. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to put the whole container in, all of it. And I usually put a little container of lemon juice. Although I do add fresh lemons, I don't think I've ever had crawfish with too much lemon juice in it. So we're going to add some more to it. Dylan, can you start squeezing these lemons in here, please? Yeah. Thank you. Let's see if I can get this thing open. All right, what I'm gonna do also is put the onions in. You want those in first thing, that's part of your seasoning. And we're also gonna be putting garlic in it. Boy, that is starting to look like a tasty, delicious treat. We ain't even got hot water yet.
Gotta go to open the baby.
So we're not even gonna cut the garlic open or anything. We're putting them in whole. And Dylan's gonna finish up with the lemons. So we are gonna start adding our liquid crab oil.
This is always the part of the boil where you find your cuts.
Right, the lemons will find you cuts on your fingers. We'll give it a little stir. And what you wanna do, just go ahead and stick your finger in there and give it a little taste. And you want your water to be hotter than you would normally like your crawfish, obviously, because the crawfish aren't going to be as hot as your water. So you want it really spicy. You want it to kind of sting a little bit, and you really want to taste the citrus in it. And that's what we got right now. So I'm going to go ahead and light the pot. We're going to get this heated up, and I'll get back with you. All right, so we got our water heating up. We got the fire going. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna transfer the crawfish into the champagne and make sure they're good and dried out. We don't wanna put any of that crawfish water into our crawfish boil. So that's what they're gonna do now.
So, drop it down.
So now, as soon as our water does get to a boil, we're gonna go ahead and put the potatoes in, and we're gonna let those reach a boil again, and we're gonna boil those for 10 minutes. After that, we're gonna put our crawfish in, we're gonna put our mushrooms, our hot dogs, our corn, and you can put anything you want in there, and it really comes out great. Like asparagus is really good, cauliflower is really good. I see Veronica brought some Brussels sprouts, we're gonna put that in, and we'll get to it here in just a few minutes when the water gets up to a boil. So our potatoes have been boiling now for 10 minutes. We got the water hot, everything's boiling. We're gonna go ahead and add the crawfish. We're gonna add our corn. We're gonna add everything to the boil right now, all at the same time, and we'll get our crawfish back up to a boil. Huh? Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So we're gonna put our mushrooms in. Dylan's gonna add our hot dogs, and I like the large olives with the juice. I put all of that in, if they'll come out. Put our Brussels sprouts in. And we're gonna put our corn in. Dylan's gonna give it a good stir. Make sure we got everything in some water. And now this is gonna be the most important part. At this point, you really wanna watch your pot, We want to get it back up to a rolling boil, and we're going to boil it for 4 minutes and shut it down. So this is really the most important part of doing it is your boil. So as soon as the pot gets back up to a boil, as soon as we see it steaming, we know we got a good rolling boil. We're going to go 4 minutes. All right, we've timed our boil. We've been at 4 minutes, and I want to reiterate that you want to time it after it gets to a rolling boil. So it's time to cut it off. Now what we're going to do now, it got quiet. So what we're going to do now is what we call breaking the boil. What we want to do is we want to bring the water temperature down below 212 degrees, obviously. And what that does, if we can get it down to maybe 170, 160 degrees, what we'll do is we'll actually cause the crawfish to shrink inside the shell, and it pulls in the water, and it'll make them much juicier than if you just let them sit. Now, a lot of people will pour ice into them. I don't like doing that because I don't like diluting the crawfish. So generally what I do is I'll spray the outside of the pot until it stops evaporating immediately. So you'll see we'll do that while Dylan's spraying. I'll give them a good stir. And we're just going to continue to spray them, like I said, until the water stops evaporating off the pot. And then after that, what we're going to do is let them soak. So crawfish need to soak. What I've noticed is I don't add salt to my boil. I only use the Zatarans. And generally, there's enough salt in there. But what happens is a lot of people will pull them out too early. I let mine soak for a full half an hour, for 30 minutes. And what happens is right at the end is really when they'll get that salt flavor. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. So a full 30-minute soak is what you want to do for your best flavor.
This point in the process is why we wear flip-flops and shorts when we do this.
Right, because we get wet. So we're going to give it about 30 minutes, and we're going to have some crawfish ready to eat.
Oh, don't.
No.
Get over there, sit down.
Y'all simmer down.
Okay.
All right, so we've had our crawfish now soaking for 30 minutes, like maybe even a little more than 30 minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift them up and let them drain. Actually, this is going to go this way. Nah, put it straight over the pot. There you go. So now we're going to sit this down. We're going to let them drain, get most of the water out of the crawfish, just so we don't make a mess on the table. But they are actually ready to eat right now, and we're going to show you the end result on the table here in just a minute. All right.
Back up, man. There you go.
There, you're right in front of the camera. All right, so we finished our crawfish. We're going to dump them out on the table and enjoy. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. And I promise you, if you do your crawfish the way I've done it right here, the way I've showed you, you won't have anybody complaining about it. Till next time, guys, I'll see y'all.